to Face the Facts, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, about Chelsea Football Club, where we are and indeed where we are going. So, welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. And that's right, mate, I'm standing up against a wall. Like the old times, for those OGs of Football Therapy that liked my content when I was presenting. Granted, I wasn't holding a microphone like this, I was wearing a little clip lapel mic, but at least now I can be a bit more like a comedian, hey, who's drinking tonight? Anyway, today we're talking about the truth that Chelsea have to face moving forwards for the end of this season, and indeed the long term. How do we digest this really peculiar scenario where none of us know how to think? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it teething pains? Is it the decline? It doesn't matter how much Todd Boehly says after a bad result. Some swear words towards the camera, really expressing himself of how he doesn't feel it's a bad result. We are in this for the long run, and I wanted to talk about that today, so welcome back to the channel. I thank all of you for joining me today. Consider subscribing if you want to. Drop a like if you want to make me feel better about this cruel footballing world. I'm just another sensitive, vulnerable boy in a cruel footballing world. Yeah, please do drop a like. And yes, let's get into it. So, Chelsea are, yes, I'm going to use that word that everyone else uses, languishing in 10th place in the Premier League. And it doesn't look like we are going to do anything. And what I mean by that is we won't get relegated, we won't get Champions League football, and we'll almost certainly won't get Europa League football. Do we aim for that, the hallowed holy land of the Conference League? Well, the one thing I can say about that is, should Chelsea qualify for the Conference League and don't win the Champions League, we have a unique opportunity that is presented to us where we can be the first team in the new age to win every single trophy available and wear it like a shameless badge of honor. Do you want that? Or would you prefer not to have that and not have no European football? We might win the league like Antonio Conte did with Chelsea. By the way, on a slight tangent, I haven't mentioned it on the channel, but yes, of course, I'm thoroughly enjoying the Antonio Conte meltdown at Tottenham and loved his little I would say it's a rant. Dude went off and just dismantled Tottenham Hotspur as a football club, talking about their heritage of not winning, how they've not been run, how they're just lazy, they're selfish. It was just great box office fun to when he at the end when after the rant he went, I'm very upset. And I was like, oh, cool. I didn't get that, mate. Didn't get that from what you were saying. Anyway, I don't think we'll win the league next season if we don't get European football. And in fact, saying that, even though hopefully, fingers crossed, we shave a lot of names out of the squad, which we absolutely need to do, I still think we'll probably have a relatively bloated squad, and if things going well still, we'll try and integrate some youngsters into the squad, so we'll probably make use of European nights, keep the momentum going. I don't know, Conte's like the quintessential doesn't want Europe manager. I'm not sure Potter is, but we need to talk about Potter because is he going to stay at Chelsea? And the short answer is yes. In my opinion, nothing can happen now or between now and the end of the season for Graham Potter to get canned. Because the players don't dislike him. Because, there's not Stamford Bridge faithful haven't turned on him. In fact, they're probably quite pleased with the 3 wins in a row. Technically unbeaten in 4, but Everton equalizers really put a negative spin on how everyone feels. Had we not been on such a dismal run prior to that, then maybe they no one would care, but they just got that muscle memory still, the residual negative feelings from this recent dismal turbulent run have immediately surfaced from dropping 2 points at home to Everton. So it's tricky and it's tough, and of course my latest upload I do reference the fact how the Chelsea owner comes out and says to a fan who's filming him, sugar fudging game, the swear word variant of that expression. So he's not happy and he wants to win. Chelsea will back themselves to beat Real Madrid because why not? It's this Chelsea thing to do. Will we go on and beat Bayern and City? Should we get through? I don't know. Look, I'm not saying we're going to beat Real Madrid. We might not. They're a very good team and they've got great players and they know how to play with each other, which often Chelsea don't look like that. The fact remains, the ownership, even though maybe not 1,000% convinced, they do want to give Potter the season and a pre-season, a good pre-season with the pressure off, with the eyes off, with the cameras off, with the newspapers off as much as they can be in a transfer window. Excuse me. And they want to give him the opportunity to shave down the squad, get rid of some of the players that are maybe creating not toxic atmosphere, but their inclusion and non-inclusion is unbalancing, like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Of course, he was in the Camp Nou last night to watch Barcelona. I have a feeling he will go straight back to Barcelona in the summer. It's my personal feelings. They liked him over there. He liked it over there. I don't blame him at all. I've got no axe to grind with Aubameyang. He signed for Tuchel. Tuchel got canned. He sort of floated about, but he's training well and being professional. Well, I don't know if he's training well, but he's certainly being professional, and that's all Potter and indeed the club can ask for at the moment. He'll go. Ziyech will of course go. Who knows what's going on with Pulisic now? There is other players as well, and of course the big headline is Mason Mount. What happens with Mason Mount? We've spoken about it on the channel at length. If he goes, that will create a big news story. There's so many polarizing opinions on Mount. A lot of people think, you've absolutely got to keep this guy. A lot of people think, well, he's had a poor season and maybe he doesn't fit in with the long term. I do think Chelsea should keep Mount. I think he's a very, very good, hard-working system player, as well as a player who can, produce numbers himself. And I think he'll just keep getting better and better as he has done in his career. I feel like he's having an off-season because of contract talks or whatever. And by the way, I don't think it's all like selfish money talk. I think it's like, apparently Cy Phillips, who's a sports aggregator or Chelsea news aggregator, said how it's like a multitude of things. It's contract length. Not everyone wants to sign an 8.5-year deal. Someone of Mason's age as well, that would take him over 30, I believe. Well, yeah, it would. And also, it's just not always, there were people saying it's really impressive how Chelsea are getting these young players to sign long deals, because it actually gives them a bit of a disadvantage. Some profiles, of course, there's that job security, but it wouldn't suit someone like Mason Mount. And also there's issues with his image rights as well. There's a bunch of stuff, so it's tricky. If he stays, great, let that news story go away, just forget about it. He's with us now, he wants to stay at Chelsea, he's a Chelsea boy, all great, forget about it. But if he goes, there'll be some residual hangover in terms of narrative. He's posing with a Liverpool shirt. Pundits and analysts are talking about how did Chelsea let their academy star go. But regardless, one way it needs to get sorted. The noise needs to be flushed away for Graham Potter, and then they will analyse him. They want to do a 1-year review. The team apparently they did a few months review of the current team. They're very, this is so like systemic, formulaic, and dare I say it again, data led from the new ownership group. They want to do certain sort of segments reviews, see how they've done, what can they learn from the data, how can we change this, who's happy, who's not happy, and they want to afford Graham Potter that opportunity to see indeed if it's been partially out of his power, the shortcomings and what's happening, and he's their man. Like, as much as it's a derogatory term, it is true as well. He's a company man, he's a yes man, but not in all the bad ways, because he's incredibly intelligent, and there's apparently sides to him we don't know. Do I want Graham Potter to succeed at Chelsea? Yes, of course, because he's the current Chelsea manager, and I know this is one of the reasons I left Twitter, because of these silly terms that get thrown around. English bias. Well, you know what, mate? In this instance, yes. Yes, I have English bias, and I'll tell you what, I wanted him to be manager of England to replace Southgate. I have English bias, and by the way, I'm not like a Brexit Chelsea fan. I take pride in my club having, international cultures and widespread reach, and wonderful international players throughout many, many, many years. And I take great pride in my viewership for this channel. being international. I've got like a massive viewing in like India, Asia, loads of African countries. It's wicked. But in this instance, I'm an Englishman that is proud that I have an English manager, because it's the Premier League has never had an English winner. Mind blown. The English Premier League, an English manager has never won it. Now, many of you won't care about that, and rightly so. If you're not English, why would you give a monkeys so-and-so? But I do, you know, so I'd love him to succeed. But ultimately, Chelsea succeeding is paramount. You know, you don't give this guy forever. And obviously, there will come a time when Chelsea can't keep spending money and trying to dig themselves out of it. As much as the data-led bros say they're going to go for the Moneyball model, so far, they're just spending serious money. But to bring it on home, he's going to stay to the end of the season. The camp is seemingly happy behind the scenes, and while the ownership see that, and while we're so close to the end of the season, and while we're out of free competitions, you know, an argument might be made, oh, it's international break. He'll get sacked now over the international break, and I'll look like a mug. You know, I saw some people have been like, it's international break, get someone else in, settle for the rest of the season, start again, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I just don't think there's any way that will happen. So yeah, I wanted to talk about it. I want to hear your opinions. Do you think we can still beat Real Madrid? Have you made peace of where we were? What are you happy with? What do you need to see for the end of the season? Yeah, and that's it from me. Hopefully, let me know if you like this style of content, standing more presentable, you know, more performative maybe. Who knows? Yeah, I'm going to wind it up. Thanks for joining me. See you later. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.